Hello and welcome. My name's Reef, as always, and joining me for another episode of, well, Pillars of Eternity. There was some people shouting out this man's house, and they were all really, not friendly, but we'll try and find out what the hell is going on. An elven man stands before his relatively stocky build, suggesting a life of labor. His face is pale and drawn, his eyes wide. Behind him, a younger man and woman exchange worried glances. Continue. The miller raises a club as you enter. It shakes violently in his grip. Get back if you value your life. I don't like being threatened. Or hold on, I'm not here to hurt anyone. The miller hesitates, then lowers a club a fraction. Who are you? Is Swainur roping foreigners into this little crusade now? My name is Ilana, and I only just arrived in Gilded Vale. Looks like a good option. You picked a bad time to come visiting Gilded Vale's, but had all its shine scraped off. Just a big dung heap now, and Swainur thinks he's king of it. They're all of them mad. So, what was that ruckus about outside? Where to begin? Swainur's whipped them up into a froth, going on about grain stores, claims I've hidden away most of it. All I do with the grain is sell it. I can't create it out of thin air, and I can't hand it out for free. I pay the farmers for the crops they bring in, and I sell what comes out of the mill. Most of it goes to the Black Hound on the west side of town for ale, and Swainur and the Lacelots sure don't mind that part. You take a look at the fields on the way into town. The crops blight, and most of what I'm getting from the farmers. Trumbull Jesus' sack and containers. It's gone off, rotted through. I can't pay top prices for blighted wheat, and I've barely got enough good grain to go around. Swainur's holding off the things he has no right to. Maybe I ought to go have a talk with Swainur then. I'd be grateful if you did. He won't listen to me anymore, but maybe you'll have better luck. Tell him we're all having a hard time of it, and we'll have to make some sacrifices. We'll be in your debt for it, if you can convince him. Fair enough, guess I'll go talk to that man. Yeah, things are going well. But yeah, everything always takes so long to do in this game because, well, these type of RPGs are usually quite lengthy. It's some cows! Moo-moos! Hello? Oh, you're just a villager. Nothing to worry about, it seems. There's a plant over here I'm gonna loot. Okay. Okay, we still have to find the fucking inn. Fucking inn palace. And this place is really sizable. Is this the blacksmith? Yeah, it is. That is the blacksmith indeed. This is a villager. There's no entrance over there. That goes nowhere. Interesting, and this is just another villager. Here's some plant to loot. Pilgrim's Crown. This takes me to Magran's Fork. I don't think that's where I want to be. Another villager. Okay, do I have a map in this place? Let's see. Map. We have Road South, Temple of Ithos, Aloth, the Blackhound Inn, Alpha's house. Oh, here's the Blackhound Inn, so that's where we want to be. Okay, fine. I'll just click here and walk here. Let's zoom out a bit so we can see more of what's going on. Oh, hello there. You see 4 people gathered by the door to the inn. The raised voices and chopping gestures suggest an argument reaching its climax. The first figure raises his hands for calm. His face is partially obscured by a hood, but his height and stature suggests an elf. Continue.
I meant no offense. Let's put this matter to rest over a round, shall we? My treat.
Well, that sounds like a good plan.
Hoping to soothe our pride with a few Adira coppers, eh? We don't need your coin.
What's going on? That's a good thing. Mocking us even while he shelters in our village just goes to show you what these fancy Idea manners are worth. We don't take to that kind of treatment, not from foreigners, especially not from Iderians. Continue.
On. Say it again. I'm itching for an excuse.
Oh?
Why, you're itching for the kindling touch of your sister, you cocksfeather!
It's fucking hilarious.
I'll cut that barrel-licking tongue out of your head.
Wow.
This is a misunderstanding. I didn't say whatever it is you think I said. We've nigh quarrel.
I think this man has more than one.
That's where you're wrong.
So do I get them to fight them or what? I don't think attacking them is such a good idea. 3 drunks cross-scout you, and why is that? Because then you have me to deal with? They look at each other. One of the men gives the other 2 a warning shake of his head before turning to you. We're done for now, but this one better watch his step around here because we're not going anywhere. With a final scowl to Earth, he turns to leave. Earth. It's an Earth. What do we have here, sir? An Earth. Okay, they run away. As the 3 stumbles away, the elf turns to you and the tension almost gone from his smooth face.
Not quite how I hoped to get to know the neighbors. Thank you for your timely assistance with that awkward situation.
If you mean for them making them piss their pants, you're welcome.
Well, that is one way of putting it.
Continue. He straightens his hood and you note the remains of a fraying embroidery on his gloves. The boots are caked with the dirt of many months' travel, but the leatherwork beneath it is sturdy and fine.
Well, I suppose introductions are in order after that little fiasco. Aloth Corvisor, at your service.
So, how did you manage to get stuck out here? That is something of a long story, apparently.
Well, I'm a wizard by training, and an adventurer by necessity. I was born in the Seathwood, part of the mainland of the Adir Empire, and both of my parents served the nobility, which afforded me an education for which I'm grateful. However, there were no open positions in those houses, and so I decided to seek new means in a new land.
Oh?
And how exactly did you come to be here?
Well, I was traveling with a caravan, but we were separated near some ruins.
In Gwithan ruins? Oh, those can be dangerous places during the best of times, which these are not. In half the locals would arrest you for trespassing and the rest would kill you outright. I'm curious, what exactly did you find there?
Bivouac.
And you survived? I've heard such a thing was impossible. But it seems you either have a knack for timing or the favor of the gods.
Well, what are you doing in Gilded Vale?
An excellent question. I came looking for fresh air and cheap land. Instead, the magistrate gave me directions to the inn and a story about the local lord's expectant wife. But I take it that's a familiar tale.
Yes, and I've heard that one before. And you? Well, like you said, I'm also a settler. I've been experiencing strange things of late, and I'm looking for an expert on souls.
Indeed. The local lord has searched far and wide for similar specialists. He has rid himself of them almost as desperately.
He nods at the gnarled old tree in the center of town. His starting glass takes the tumble-down buildings and the fallow rock-strewn fields. I expect that such expertise would be best sought elsewhere. Yes it is. You don't exactly look like a settler.
Begging your pardon, but neither do you. Yet, circumstances can find a person in the strangest of places.
I guess. Fair enough. So how did you manage again to cross those 3 drunks?
I'm afraid that was a matter of misunderstandings and mistranslations. It doesn't help that people in these parts remember their war with Adir like it was yesterday.
Well, you did tell that one man to go fuck his sister. I heard the same thing. For just a moment he looks as if he's about to say something else. His expression brightens with mischief, but before he can speak, he forces a touch small, biting his lips so hard you can expect to see blood. Finally his face relaxes and he shakes his head. I should speak more clearly next time, my apologies. I should get going.
Should I, given recent events. It's just as well. I've had enough of the watered wine and lumpy beds at the inn. They say even the owner tired of the place. Just up and left one day. It explains quite a lot about the upkeep.
Wow.
Perhaps I could join you. I could use a change of scenery, and I find it's better to travel in numbers.
Well, fuck, I don't mind. So a wizard would always be good. You're a wizard now, Harry.
Excellent. I shall follow you.
Awesome, we have a friend. And he's a wizard.
How may I help?
Let's see what he is carrying. The wizard is carrying nothing at all. Right click for good. Oh, he has spells. It's only level 1 wizard though. Oh well.
Indeed.
No problem.
Okay, let's get into the inn. If you don't mind. I know you were just here. Yeah, that's not happening. Villager. A barman. Orlan server. Villager. Drunkard. Villager. Villager. Table. There's something on this table. I'm gonna take it for me. Some coin. Developments of a Crucible Night Part 2. And Scroll of Fan Flames. Nobody's gonna mind that, obviously. I guess we're gonna talk to the guy and see if we can maybe really enjoying the atmosphere this game creates.
Good day, stranger.
Oh, greetings and welcome to the Black Hound Inn. Continue. Please sit where you like. Would you like a drink or a room? We have 2 available at the moment, and I'm afraid we can't offer much by the way of a good meal today. Besides, unless you're fond of cold porridge. I'd like a room, actually. Of course, we keep them nice and tidy. The common room. Yes, I'm gonna rest here. Because I'm poor. Inns allow characters to rest without using camping supplies. Cheap rooms are usually available, but if you have corporate to spend, you may consider the more expensive option. The bonuses they provide last for a long time and affect the entire party. Wow. Your sleep is restless and fevered, assaulted by the hisses and whispers, blanketed with a suffocating anxiety. You open your eyes to awaken and find yourself in front of Gilded Vale's gallows tree, the creaking of its ropes growing louder in your mind until the sound is deafening. Continue. Hanging from the tree is an old dwarf woman whose face is shriveled inward like mouldering fruit. Her head hangs limply to one side. As you look at her, she looms larger and larger in your mind until she is mere inches from your face. Suddenly, her head snaps up and her eyes open, and they are empty, and behind them is a vast nothingness that makes your stomach drop. Her mouth slowly parts, and with a gust of rancid air she speaks a word. Watcher. Continue. You jolt awake, the foul smell of the dwarf's breath still permeating your nostrils. Sweat runs down your face in thick droplets, and your skin is soaked from head to toe. You remember the woman. You remember seeing her decaying face when you spoke with the magistrate. He called her an animancer. Though it fills you with a new, queasy apprehension, you feel a strange compulsion to see this woman once more, if only to confirm she is truly dead. Okay, so we have to go find the dead wood elf lady. Floorboards still sticky with spills that no one has bothered to clean.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So that was quite a freak we had. I mean, jeez, man, dead woman. Villager. I'm just gonna save here. I think here's good. Save. Yes, thank you. Thank you, game. Okay, so the tree is right over here. Luckily. Oh, it's a bit magical, isn't it? Oh well. The squat, distended body of an elderly dwarf woman dangles from a thin, crooked bow that sags at the tug of her noose. Holy shit. Okay. By now, most of you people know I'm not English as a native speaker, so some of this is a bit hard for me to pronounce. The bloated purple flesh of her neck, worn away in patches like moth-eaten linen, bulges over the rib that suspends her. Her lifeless head lolls forward rigidly from one side to the other when the breeze shifts. You perceive a faint glow around her that casts no light on its surrounding, but there is a tepid warmth to it, and you feel somehow that you could reach out and touch it, not with your hands, but with some aspect of yourself that has no worldly dimension. Reach out for the woman. You take a deep breath, clearing your mind, focusing on your objective. As you exhale, you feel yourself spreading out towards the hanging woman, perceiving all that lies between you and her with new, unfamiliar awareness. Once you have expanded enough to reach her, there is a sudden jolt in your mind, a ringing electric surge of images and words and sounds. Involuntarily, you shut your eyes and feel yourself being pulled down to some deeper consciousness in a space occupied by only you and the hanging woman, and when you open them again, she is staring at you with eyes clouded in a milky fog. A body still swaying in the wind you no longer feel from a tree that stands planted in the misty void. The woman gives you a slow nod of her head, robe creaking as she does so, and she smiles at you.
Have you come here for me, dear? Or have you gotten lost?
Her eyes squint.
It is both, I think. Yes?
Yeah, that is fucking freaky. Okay, so am I gonna go with, am I imagining this? Or how are you able to speak to me? Or I need to understand something that's happened to me. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go with, I think I survived the bivouac. Do you know why that would be?
Did you now, dear? My, that would be something, wouldn't it? Could be luck, could certainly be. A storm can be a careless thing.
Yeah?
Or maybe it got its hands around your soul but couldn't pick it up. A soul can be heavy if it stayed in one piece through its time. Strong souls, we call them in the trade. Cold, I mean. Called them. Those days are all behind me, no?
I need to understand something that's happened to me. She nods, a look of pity on her face as though consoling a child.
The world looks a little different than it used to, is that it? Feels like you're noticing things for the first time that have always been there.
Yeah?
You have seen past the shroud. It only takes an instant. Your soul remembers, yes? Remembers how it sees when it leaves the body, like being reminded of a dream you had forgotten. You are a watcher now, and a watcher you will stay.
Okay, so what is a watcher?
What indeed? Long hours have many animancers spent studying such things. Not I. Not I. I'll tell you what I know, though, since fair is fair. And here we are, visiting, you and I, and it reminds me of better times.
Well, she's a friendly dead dwarf, at least.
Souls pass on. Some say through Audra stones, which are the blood veins of the world. They leave the world for a time and are reborn into it, sometimes more than they were before, but usually less and seldom the same. For all souls there is a time where they do not live, yet have not passed on, and those souls roam the world, same as you or I, either leaving or lost. But no one sees them because they have forgotten how.
Well, then think it's normal to see souls walking around?
A watcher sees, though, knows what to look for. And sometimes they know a person just by looking at them, know where they've been in ages past when their bodies were other bodies. See memories even their owner can't recall. A wonder to behold when all goes well, a wonder.
Wow. What do you mean when all goes well?
Oh, nothing to be afraid of, I'm sure. It's just much to take in for some. Sometimes there's trouble sleeping or other difficulties.
She smiles at me reassuringly, finding out a tuft of long whiskers that sprouts from one of the cheeks.
You should see old Merwald. He could tell you much more than I. A watcher just like you. Helped many in his day. Took up in an old keep no one would claim. Not far, not far. Katnua, beyond the Black Meadow. He will welcome the company.
Well, that's good to know, and I want to know something about you.
Me? I'll bore you to tears, though.
What is an animancer?
A student of the soul. Something so basic, yet so poorly understood. But so many breakthroughs have been made in my lifetime. Had been made. Had been. To hear the locals tell it, we're a gang of soul manglers that preys upon the weak-minded. And the worst of us are. But the best of us? The best? Inspirations. Miracle workers. My parents were soul twins. Miserable before they met, empty inside. It was an animancer who helped one find the other. Turned their lives around. You wouldn't believe the stories. Amnesiacs helped to remember their lives. The suicidal brought back from the brink of oblivion. The elderly afforded extra moments to say their goodbyes. How soon we forget when we're afraid.
Wow. Okay.
It's a fascinating science. A fascinating time to be alive in a place like Deerwood that does not control the research, no? I love the Valian republics for many things, but their recent caution will leave them behind, I fear.
Wow. Okay. I think that's enough questions. Farewell.
Goodbye, my dear. It was lovely visiting.
Wow. Caldara closes her eyes and her head slumps forward over the noose, and your surroundings seem to bleed into your vision from some unknown place of waiting. Olive looks at you through narrowed eyes. Are you alright? You seem lost now. I am a watcher. His eyebrows recede into his hood. Well, that's interesting. He uses like Ren, and I expect that explains how he survived the bivouac then. In any case, I appreciate your honesty. Since we're traveling together, it's probably wise for us to share these things. Do you know anything about watchers? Only that they're rare and they seem to have unique insights into certain soul conditions. As you just demonstrated. Let's continue on. Cool. So I'm gonna save right here. Save. And I'm gonna...
17.5.
What? The smell of pie smoke at once earthy and sweet winds its way into your nostrils. Your eyes trace the smoke to its origin, where you will find a broad man with straw-colored hair leaning against a mossy rock wall, his pipe held to his lip with one meaty hand. He looks you directly in the eye, but the look is not aggressive. He regards you with a peculiar smirk.
17.5. Well, could be 18, depending on how you count the dwarf woman.
Okay, so, what are you talking about?
The people hanging from the tree. 18 of them. Well, last I counted, anyway.
Geez, that's a lot of people. Is that what you people do for fun around here?
Name's Adair. So do the people around here. Might as well be 19. Don't think I'd put you much higher than 22. 23 tops. You look like the sort that likes to get involved.
What's that about a
The
dwarf?
dwarf woman. You were trying to figure out whether to count her as a full person. I think you oughta.
What makes you think I was interested in the dwarf woman? His smirk broadens.
I was smoking over here, saw you staring at her. Twice I refilled my pipe. You never so much as blinked. Your mouth was so slack I took you for a radrook at first.
Impossible, I don't drool half as much. Ha, so you're already familiar. Still, you have to forgive my curiosity. Around here we prefer to turn a blind eye to our dead. Do you know what a watcher is?
Careful, friend. Best not use that word round here. There'd be any number of Radric bootlickers within earshot. Ciphers, animancers, watchers. Same thing in the eyes of folks around here, Radric especially. They come through these parts all the time with their cures, preying on the desperate. None of them are who they claim to be.
Okay.
Of course, seeing you with that funny look, I'd be halfway inclined to believe you were having some kind of communion with that dwarf. Either case, maybe I'm not 19 after all. No offense.
What's that supposed to mean? Don't blame me, I don't have a say. You can't take my word for
The
that.
town's had it in for me for a long time now. Only fellow who ever stuck up for me, well, he's number 18 up there. My headman on the farm. Used to be my captain during the war.
The war? Saints' War. Only one in my lifetime. Vale decides he's a living incarnation of ethos, overthrows Red Curris, marches on Derwood, and she gave him a Derwoodian hello. And what's Derwoodian hello?
We blew him up.
Oh, okay. That's fair enough. Who is Ethos? God of Rebirth and Redemption, formerly anyway. Maybe they call him something different where you're from. I had other questions. Why was your headman hanged? Got involved. Radric sent men down here the other day, said they had to, on good authority, someone in town was working with Kolsk, plotting Radric's overthrow. Said if it didn't come forward right then and there, they'd hang every last one of us. No one was coming forward, so Swithin, that's my headman, he steps out and says it's him. They took him at his word. He sighs and shakes his head, his eyes fixed on a tree. Bound to happen sooner or later. If not for plotting against Radric, then for protecting me. Well, farewell. So, yeah. I think I'm going to end this episode right here. And, well, we'll see what we're going to do in the next episode. Thank you guys for watching. Bye-bye.